Congregation. Well, we're still working on a few things. Praise the Lord. And besides, of course, ladies are powerful these days. We must admit, isn't it? We have another lady. She is a midwife. Any complication, she can sort you very well right now. She is beautiful. She is intelligent. She is an influencer. This lady is called Cinderella. And of course, Cinderella is not married. Cinderella is single. You're most welcome, Cindy. You can have your wonderful seat. And then, to crown up, we have a mighty man of valor. This man is the manager of St. Gracious Hotel. This man is a father of children. So ladies, it's okay, next edition. This man is married though. So let us just be influenced with his words. But further than that, for another edition, isn't it? This man is called Saula George. You're most welcome, Monica. I honor him a lot. He has influenced my world. You can have your wonderful seat. And of course, you have me. You can sit here. Yeah, you have me. I am there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands for Jude. And all our interesting panelists tonight. Welcome all of you and the rest of you who have come. Praise the Lord. Just wave to King Jesus. We want to bless the name of the Lord. It's been a great time in His presence. We did worship and we met God and we were about, but we said not yet time. Praise the Lord. Because if God was to come and say, let me take you now, some people would again refuse and say, let's leave me a little bit. Hallelujah! So God has been good to us today and tonight. We want to look at influencing our world. And you know, the world is all around us. The world is what we see, is what we believe, and are things that we do. And these people are here to help us understand more about the world and the influence and how we can influence the world. And I want to welcome all of you. I want to ask you to be very, very attentive and be ready with your questions because we will be doing a few of the things concurrently. We'll be having some of your questions move together with us. So please, you have a question, be getting them to our ushers, and we'll have a time to chip in some of your questions. I have with me Cinderella, I have George, I have Tina, and I have Jude with me. And these are the people that the Lord has anointed this month, and we're going to hear great, great things from them. Tina,
Yes, please.
I know God has put something in your mind, and everybody's wondering, what is this influence all about? You know, just that influence. You have something to tell us?
Yes, I know that people have different definitions of influence, but for me, I'll simply put it like the ability to change something, to change character, to change behavior of someone or something.
The ability, I love the word ability there. The potence, some power that you have. George, you could be having another perspective of influence.
I will just add one thing. On top of all those, it should create impact on that character, on that development of somebody or something.
So it should create impact on that which you are trying to do, on the object that is at hand. Praise the Lord. Amen. I don't know if, Cinderella, you have something to add? Because people are about to be pregnant, you know, they're showing me it's almost enough now.
Let me add something a bit about influence. Influence is what comes from within you to outside you, and then it spreads to the people around you. So if it stays just around you and it has not spread to the people around you, then
so it's a power based inside somebody that comes out to bring out the results. Praise the Lord.
Wow, Tina, You know, she has influenced me a lot. There are very many things about her I keep asking myself, can I really manage? Tina is a lady who finished campus some very many years back, and Tina has remained the way she is. And I don't know what factor really influences Tina to be like this, and you know...
You mean the campus figure? You're meaning the campus figure?
It's far beyond the campus figure.
Wow, we'll come back later to that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we want to look at the world. If there is one subject that is very difficult to define and understand, is what we call the world. Before we blow a lot of things here, I want us to understand the world that we want to talk about today. We've looked at influence, now we really want to see the world itself. So that when we move forward, we are all at the same pace. Amen? George.
The world, to me, is the universe and its creation, but the immediate neighborhood and its civilization is my world.
So the world is the creation that we see around. That is George's perspective. Gina, how do you look at the world?
I will put it according to how I define my world. There are three things in my world. One, there is God, and that includes God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And then the next thing in my world is my family, and then comes my friends and neighbor. Neighbor, biblically defined. That's my world to me.
So to her, it's about her God and her family. Now, I still feel that this is still a geographical definition. I know you're co-moderating, but you can give something is still missing. Something is still missing. These guys have given me a geographical definition of the world, and we want to be diverse and touch every area.
My world, in a simple way, is something beyond me, myself. He is already my world. Beyond myself, the people around me.
The state of earthly existence of human beings. You hear guys talking about my world of music. Like, I'm a musician, I love music. Samson loves music, that is his world. Somebody loves sports, that is your world. So we can have so many definitions of the world, and we cannot limit them. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to get to this thing now called the influence. And I want you to know that you, who is here, you are an entrepreneur of ideas. But unless you come out, unless you stand out publicly, you cannot influence the world. So, Cinderella, what qualities do you want to share with the house? I know guys have ideas. There is no one who is born without ideas.
Qualities of a good influencer. I can look at it in two perspectives. I can look at it as a leader, or just as a normal person without any leadership position. But the one thing that I am going to still do, I am going to influence you. So, you cannot influence anyone without love. That is the first thing. And this is one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Without love, you're not going to do anything because you're not going to be committed to it. If you look at Mark 12:28, Jesus says, he was asked, we have commandments, but what is the greatest commandment? And he answered, these are the greatest commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Then love your neighbor as you love yourself.
So, Cinderella, what is it that you see that people are not doing to achieve this love?
If you don't take interest in your neighbor, you don't have love.
You don't have
If you
love.
don't act kind, you don't have love.
Wow, we'll come back to you. George, you have influenced a number of people to come to Grace's Palace, and people have never changed their position of going to eat, do what, and I just want you to give us a little bit of these ingredients that you've imparted on these guys. Why they keep following you all the time? You know, that is an influence that I see in you, and each time I think about some hotel, I want to go to Grace's Palace. You could be having an idea.
Thank you so much. I will begin with my position there. I'm the general manager. And to qualify to manage, there are a few qualities you must have. What do I have? One, I am aware of myself, self-aware.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness enables me to determine my attitude daily, and I cross-check myself daily. I know well who I am. But also that self-awareness is every day I don't exist. Now that's the paradox. Know yourself and forget yourself. I do that every day. Why? By knowing myself well, I know my abilities, and I keep putting that every day.
And you don't want to be somebody else.
I don't want to be somebody else. The second thing I do, or you should do to influence your world, is own your actions and impact. What do I mean by this? Every decision I make as a manager has an implication on staff and on my guests. If I give a promise of service and I don't give it to the expectation of the guest, I must be humble enough to say, I'm sorry, I will do better tomorrow if they stay longer, or promise on their return. That's now as a person. But now let's look at the general. I'm not managing anybody, people are just looking at me.
So action and accountability matters.
People are just looking at me. I must be able to speak some added truth. Being open. And added truth means positive confession about me and people around me.
So, Joe, you're trying to tell us, that somebody can influence the world even without speaking a word. Just by action.
Yes.
The way you do your things, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you...
Yes.
I understand. Now, Tina, people will never do well in life unless they have caught this word passion. And I want you to really make it a little clear to the people so that somebody goes back here and somebody knows that the only missing link that the person was missing was simply the passion. To come to what John is talking about. In order to believe yourself, in order to walk your talk and be responsible for your actions. So,
you see, passion is a word that people talk about most of the time, that if you have passion for something, you will always go for it and achieve it. And to me, I think that passion is a choice, just like love is a choice. And for you to have passion, to chase after something, you must be deliberate about it. And for you to be able to influence your world, you must have passion for changing the lives of people. We said from the beginning that the ability to impact, to cause effect in the character of something or
the
someone.
ability to persuade people to act and do the way you want. Yes.
Yes, you enable them to go to what the direction that you want them to go to. So it is entwined. You must have the passion and the goodwill of the people around you, and it only comes when you have the love she talked about, because love is the fire that burns in the passion.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Jude comes, she will come after me. You know, one thing is the passion we are talking about, that strong feeling in you, that kind of annoyance that you will come up one time and say, I think I can do this for my community. I think I can do this for my life. It's the passion that will keep burning in your life, and eventually you will come out. I have seen a number of people, they're not known, they're down there. They have not come out publicly. Because the passion is not driving them. There is no fire ignited in them that can, help, push up their actions and do all that. Yes, Jude?
Wow, the people down there, if you have questions, keep dropping your questions. We can read them out and this panelist will answer. Meanwhile, Cinderella, one thing I believe is to be a great influencer, you need to be very honest. What can you tell the house about honesty?
She has called it honesty, but I'm going to call it integrity. When Jesus came and he started preaching to the people, he would tell them to do as he does. When he walked on the sea, on water, he told them, have faith. But he first demonstrated that faith for them. As an influencer, no one is going to follow you, or no one is going to be influenced by you if you don't do as you say, or tell them to do as you do. If you don't walk that talk, no one is going to be influenced by you. Because they'll have that image of, you're a liar. Why haven't you done it? You're telling me to do it, but you're not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? What wrong is there in you doing it? See?
So, Cinderella, you're trying to tell us that every day that we live, somebody's watching at us.
Yes.
People are looking at you, people are following your footmarks and the footsteps.
Yes.
And the moment you tamper with your actions and with your steps, you deviate from the integrity we're talking about.
Because you're a light.
Because
and when you're a light, everyone is seeing you. And when the light is being covered by something small, even if it's just a small curtain, and that's dishonesty, people are going to see that dishonesty and walk away from the light.
You know, there is this problem of pretense, and you will come at you. And you know, it brings some fear in your life. George, how can you help our people to maintain that quality of being courageous in order to maintain the integrity, to sustain it?
Thank you so much. You know, honesty is say it the way you feel, do it the way you know it, and be able to explain no matter how they perceive it. That's honesty.
No matter how they perceive it.
Now, to get boldness.
And yet you want influence.
Yes, because
they should first understand you before you influence them.
Yes.
So how is it that you don't mind about their understanding?
Well, those who are bold will come to ask, why have you done it this way?
I understand.
Then why are you doing it this way? Because they want to relate with you. Because one, they have already a perception, they have a worldly view. Now, you want to change their behavior, you want to change the way they perceive, you want to carry them to the next level. They begin from where they are, then they contrast and compare with what, then you come up to ask. But coming back to the question of boldness, 99% of success is starting.
Okay.
That's how some philosophers say. Now, if you feel you are not bold, for instance, you can't confront somebody. Okay, make the first step to confront the person or to approach. If you start moving towards the person and you feel you are not stopping, you are conquering fear.
Thank you, George. That brings us even to patience, in addition to courage. Now, Tina, what have you done to fight fear? You know, there is this fear of acceptance. As we move out to the public, some people are asking a lot of questions. And will I be accepted with my idea? You know, people fear really speaking out their minds. And they think people are so critical and they're looking at them. So, what is your take? What is your take on accepting, you know, that fear, you know, acceptance, and, you know, at the same time fighting fear in you?
I think George has partly answered that. Fear is something that we will always live with, whether we like it or not. And fear in itself is not bad. There is some level of fear that you need in order to progress in this life. Because if you don't have that level of fear, then then you have a problem.
In other words, you cannot go forward.
Yes, but they say that too much of everything is dangerous. Now, there is a dangerous kind of fear. And that is the kind of fear that will stop you from achieving your dreams. That is the kind of fear that will stop you from pursuing. That is the kind of fear that will even make you fail before you get started. Because it comes and overshadows all your abilities. Because it speaks louder into your mind than the truth that actually I can step out, like he said, get started, facing your fear. First of all, you need to identify what is the source of your fear. Because you cannot solve something that you don't know the source.
Yes.
When you identify the source and the object of your fear, then you will begin to tackle it, because then you know what you're tackling.
Thank you very much, Tina. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at influencing our world. And this is where we are at. Some of you are streaming us live. Shortly, Jude will be coming with some of our questions, and we ask that you please be sending in your questions. Jude?
And of course, I want Tina to clarify on certain things. I believe down there is somebody who is saying, come on, my age is running out. Things are not happening my way. And could I say they fail to influence people? Somebody one time said, you know, there are people in their own ways, they cannot influence even one person. Tina is not married up to now, and somebody there could be bothered. I want Tina to somehow tell us, so that somebody there can also learn something from there. What is your fear? Could it be these guys have failed to influence your work? What?
Okay, I want to answer this in this way. There are levels of influence, Jude. That is something that I have been actually wanting to talk about, because if you do not understand the levels of influence, then you may not actually know where you are as a person. You need to know, because if you're going to be deliberate about influencing your world, you have to know to what level do I want to reach in this business of influence. Now, one, there is modeling. That level of influence is when people just observe you. They see your life, they see your character, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you live, the way you smile, everything about you, and they admire it, and then they're like, oh, I like that about this person. And some of those qualities, they get to what? They get to admire about you. Now, you are influencing the life of a person through the way you're living your life, but you don't know. You are not aware that actually you're impacting that
Tina, you
life.
said there are 3, another one?
There are actually 4. Then the other one is the one of motivating. It's where you come in and encourage people and try to try to be in their shoes. I can simply put it like that. You create a bond between you and that person, and through that you help to build up their self-confidence. Now, the third level is mentorship. That is when you pour out your life to make sure that you change the life of another person. And that is also a choice, because it comes with a cost. There is a cost attached to it, and could probably be the reason why most people are not so open to coming out to mentor others, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and it takes a lot of pouring out your life into the life of other people.
Wow.
And then the last stage of influence is that one of multiplying. In other words, you have done your part, you've done your best, you're reproducing influencers. You influence people so that they go out and influence others. The multiplication effect has to take place.
Oh, thank you. Can we give a hand clap? It's so elaborate and well put, well precise, and straight to the point. And you know, one thing is, at the levels, as you talked about, we're looking at influencing your average community, influencing the national community, influencing the international community. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what she was trying to talk about brings us to another thing, looking at creativity and flexibility. Cinderella. Don't you think is one thing that is affecting self-motivation? Because people really judge, they finally come to judgment, they judge themselves, they judge other people, they become, having self-esteem. So what is your take on creativity and flexibility to help one will achieve all this that Tina was trying to put forth?
One, I'm going to tell anyone out there, don't judge yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. The world is already doing that for you. Be positive to yourself. People around you are going to say so many negative things about yourself. Don't be part of them. Keep telling yourself positive things. And that's the one way to build up your self-esteem. Nobody has gotten to where they are by putting themselves down, no. And then about creativity, you can be creative. Come out with your ideas. No one is going to say no to them. Because by the time they have come to your mind, they are beautiful. Bring your ideas to life. This monitor was somebody's idea. When he first brought it out, it was laughed at. But right now, everyone is using it. You're keeping quiet with an idea there, but it's what's going to change the world. When you keep it inside you, we are missing out on a lot. We need it. Talk to someone you know believes in you. There is always that one mentor you have that will believe in you. Pray about it. God is always going to give you an answer.
Thank you, Cinderella. In the house we have Pastor Chris and Susan Mom. Let's put our hands together. And we have Pastor Sam Owan with us also. And please, guys on protocol, please, we need some of your information as fast as possible. George, if you want to serve a community, and of course Jude will come, you need to understand their needs. And I know this is one thing that many influencers have failed to do. Sometimes you bring something which is not right for that community, for the people, and eventually you dry out, you wither out. You have not of any impact. So what can you say about understanding the needs of the community? Because that is what we are going to do. People want to hear what they want to hear. People want to see you touch their lives and getting closer to their feelings and to their problems. What is your take on understanding the needs?
Thank you so much. I must have heard this as a saying. If you are leading people and you discover no one is following you, you are taking a walk.
That's true.
Have you ever heard of that? I will use again my example. By God's grace, I happen to be the first manager in that great place. I was approached, and then I said, okay, I will do it. I came, and within our survey, we said things. The first thing to be able to meet a need is research.
You need to do research.
And research is trying to find out, establishing, what do people really need? Me as a leader, in the capacity of the manager there, every day, I don't know whether it is now an opposition, if I get a negative comment, I'll think through, I sleep sometimes, I wake up still thinking on how best did I not manage to satisfy my client. I will follow up with the line stuff.
So, John, you're trying to tell us.
Research helps a lot to identify
You're trying
the need.
to bring one aspect of empathy. You know, putting on the shoes of the people that want to serve. That is empathy.
But again, the other way is a look of service. Some of us, we don't want to live with the people we want to serve. By living is not to build a house there, but to be able to relate with them on a daily basis so that you come close to them. And they will tell you some of the things you may not read, you may not ask
George,
but as you relate with them, they will open up.
What time do we need to relate with people?
Daily, all the time. For me, one of this, I hope they are not here, out there. my bosses. But the secret is, even when a guest comes when he knows what he wants, we assume they don't know. And I've made it a point, and I emphasize it to my staff that please don't assume.
Create time, listen to people.
And if you don't laugh, most likely you will not change behavior, attitude, you cannot change the movement of people and things.
Wow.
Amen.
Oh, we so much want to believe that there is positive and negative influence. I don't know the kind of influencer you are. Maybe you have followers, but they are following you on wrong motives. Tina, what can you tell us about positive and negative influence, specifically negative?
Now, I believe that all of us that are here are looking at influencing the life of people positively, because impact has to be positive, and something that is long-lasting has to be positive. But there is also negative influence. I want to give a simple example for those that are at school. Most times people go to school and then they leave home when they're humble. They leave home when their parents know that a different side of them. Then they go to school and then they join peer. They call it peer influence. And when they come back someone else. And most times they do unthinkable things. For example, you could be born again. You go to campus, you find this clique of, because you want acceptance. Actually, the need for acceptance is one of the things that lead us to being negatively influenced. You find this group of people that you are part of, but this group of people like to go to clubs. They like to do things that you've not been doing.
So, Tina, you're trying to say aspiration can be a problem, can lead, people can aspire to do different things and yet might be good or bad, depending on how they've been influenced by colleagues.
Yeah, it depends on the power of the influence that is coming towards.
Because I've been seeing guys come for fame, somebody I want to be a musician, I want to climb on stage, I want to lead that crusade, and the whole thing is about fame, I want to be known, I want to be great in the world. What is it that somebody should have in order to have and create a positive change or influence?
I think that can also be put in this way. Somebody has asked a question there. How do I know that I'm actually influencing my world? You can respond to that, Tina.
Yeah, I wanted to, let me start with it in this way, bringing it from the perspective of the question you asked George about influencing your community. Sometimes the community we are living in is just too big for us, and you are one person. Now, one thing you have to keep in your mind, you cannot influence everybody. And since you can't influence everybody, it means you should have a target. As a person, I told you influence is a choice. You can either choose to, or you can stay back and watch. So when you choose to influence, it means you have to have a target. Now, I have an acronym of the word influencer. I read it written by a gentleman called John C. Maxwell. And that will now come in to answer your question. What should you have? She talked about integrity. That is I. If you do not have integrity, she explained that there is no way you're going to change the life of others and cause positive impact in the life of others. Because I tell you, when you lose saltiness, Matthew 5:13 says that when you lose your saltiness, it is useless. It should be thrown and trampled upon. And the moment that people question your integrity, no matter what you do, they will not give you the benefit of doubt. And then there is the one N which talks about nurturing. I hope I will try to summarize it so that I don't take a lot of time. Yes. Nurturing people. And it is part of the mentorship which I talked about. When you identify the category of people that you want to impact their life and what is it that you want to impact their life on, you have to nurture them.
So,
because when you leave,
that implies that the altitude and the magnitude of your influence will depend on your mentor. How deep you have been taken and you've been helped by somebody who mentors.
exactly. And if you want to be that person, because this is two-way, there is you being influenced and then there is you influencing. Now for me, my deliberation is on you making a choice to influence. First of all, you have to know that you cannot give what you don't have. We've heard that saying several times over and over again. And that means that if you want an overflow, if you want to overflow to reach the lives of others, it means you have to fill your cup first. And that puts in work. That's why I said it is a choice. You choose to fill your cup. Then after you filled your cup, it overflows to others. It's a decision that we have to make.
Well, we have some questions here that I believe can also help us. And this question is directed to the manager. If my influence is negative, how can I positively influence my world and change the people I have negatively influenced?
I'm glad you have identified you are negatively influencing, so you are trying to know yourself first. But I will use words of some writer here. I think they will answer you. Then I will give my personal story. Cathy Caprino says, engage with people in open, mutual, and beneficial ways. Don't be selfish. One way of seeing selfishness is when you are only leading people astray. Cathy Caprino says, don't be selfish. Start now to share positively. In a mutual, if you are sharing with somebody, for instance, a conversation, aim at benefiting that person. At the end of the day, it should be better. She says again that you embrace critique. You know you don't need or want to be always right, but you want to be more effective as you grow. Many times, even those who influence others negatively, some people have come and talked to you, brother, change your way.
What about people who don't admit? Because, you know, one of the things of ways of changing your tactics, because this guy is simply talking about changing tactics. As an army man who wants to influence, you are talking about selfishness and somebody acknowledging the wrong you should have done. Now admitting that problem. But again, you will find that the person is still stuck on this tactic.
Before I answer that, let me use my personal story. How can I change negative to positive? Before I came, we used to have negative attitude about the North. I come from Uganda. It's not that I had interacted with anybody, but that was a society I lived in. Because of the many stories, the historical problems we've had, North-South divide and tribes against tribes, and the politics generally. So we grew up hearing. Some of these statements were told to us. Now I am approached to have this opportunity by somebody from this kind of the side, which we've had. One thing, I had become a Christian. I said, but what does God has to say about these people? Maybe it is me who is simply negative. So I asked only one person, my mother.
You want to evaluate?
Yes, I asked my mother, there's this opportunity. I want to take it. She just asked me, are you ready to take it? I said, yes. 2 days to my departure, that's when I asked. He said, well, my son, do it. She didn't tell anyone. And there I came. So, first change the attitude you have towards others. Once you it is a positive, then you will change others.
And George, one big challenge is there are people who don't actually know, they do not know what they want. And also, they don't even know the people they want to influence.
Exactly. It brings
So how will that get achieved?
One, you will not, like Tina said, don't be a general person. You are everywhere. For me, I am a professional in hotel management and catering, and I did it at the bachelor's. Period. And that is by passion. I dream it, I think about it. Now, I have already identified the professional call, and I am at it. Come rain, come sunshine. Now, when you approach me in the area of professionalism, I will talk everything catering. Whether you are at master's level, PhD, we shall talk that. But now as a Christian man, I need also to know where is my foundation of this influence. It should be based on the biblical truth.
Wow, thank you.
Jesus.
Thank you so much, Joy. Cinderella, there are some people that even in the smallest gathering, when you bring such a person to talk, you realize that the few people that you have even go away.
And he wants to influence.
How can you help such a person?
One, this person should reevaluate him or herself. Why are those people leaving? Is it because of your dishonesty? Is it because of an act of unkindness? Is it because of chaos you caused at some point in their life? Is it because of the rumors you are spreading? There must be a reason why people are going to walk away from your life. So this brings us back to the qualities we had talked about. Show love, show people love, show people kindness.
Cinderella, you see, there's this, like, it's a common fact with ladies. Somebody just wants to keep quiet. You know, they always think when you keep quiet in a meeting, actually you will always make sense a lot when you come to speak. And at the end of the day, people will then have spoken all their points. And it is worse with ladies. And yet they should really stand out and influence the world. So speaking up is very important. And yes.
Yes. Speaking up is very important, just as you say. But these are people who lack self-esteem. That is the main reason why they are going to keep quiet. But if they know what they want to be said out is important, they will speak. But then others just want to show off. They want to be quiet. That's what they want.
Or it could be lack of information, because one of the needs of the community is information.
No, some have information. We have people in class who have information, but they don't want to put up their hands.
They don't want to put their hands.
They don't.
I love it when you say somebody should understand the causal needs, the cause of that problem, so the person can really treat the disease itself. Is that what you say?
That's what I say.
Yes.
And then, these people who are listening should learn to forgive. Because once
But I want to be influenced. I did not invite you. I didn't write a letter to you to come to me to sell your ideas. You are an idea entrepreneur. I want to buy your idea.
But you don't want to listen to me.
No, I will listen to you for as long as it makes sense. Yes, Joe.
You're talking about communication. Remember, to be an effective communicator, we need to mind the way we speak, the verbal. Like I am speaking. I need to have some level of politeness in my speech. You know, the modulation, my pitch. You know, some people speak, but the other people interpret them as shouting at them. Loud. And so you scare people. Then there are people who are able to influence, even without speaking much, by the non-speech or the non-verbal speech elements. Somebody may call you, Tom, come to me. Within the first 3 seconds, he's observing. How is your posture? Your gestures?
Thank you, Joe.
They will communicate with
The gestures, the blah, 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 blah. Now,
your goodness to him.
Tina, you know, there's this belief that great people, I have seen great guys like Nelson Mandela, Obama, when they rise up to speak, they speak emotionally with a lot of courage. And you're trying to tell us, you know, how we should really speak to people. Tina, do you think it matters to speak logically and emotionally so you can influence the people who are listening to you? Does it matter?
I'm going to answer that, but I've been wanting to say something. One of the strongest quality of actually a good leader and a good communicator is a person that listening. Don't take listening for a weakness. Be slow to speak, and at least, because listening helps you to understand the person who is speaking. Listening helps you to hear the things that are not being said. We do know that there is the biggest percent of communication is what is not being said. We do know that, right? Yes, the non-verbal. So the more you speak, actually, the more you are missing out. One of the things she talked about, some people think that because you're the first to get up and speak, you're speaking all the sense. But sometimes it is good for you to first listen and then understand your environment. Okay, and another thing I wanted to comment on, someone said that I have already negatively influenced my group. How can I positively change their lives now? Well, the one good thing is that you've already realized that you've been a negative influence on the life of the clique that you've been with. Now, the self-awareness that John talked about. Now, it begins with you. You have to identify how have you been negatively influencing the lives of these friends. And then after you identify that, you start to work on yourself. It will always begin with
Tina,
you.
is it possible to use a mediator? You know that people think they're self-contained and they don't need any help. Is it possible that this person can actually find a mediator? You know, like you want to identify with another influential person to come and rubbish, to rewrite the history of your life.
You will have to deal with the first level of influence, which is modeling. You change your behavior, you change your character, and let your friends witness that change in your life. Then afterwards, if you feel that you cannot face them to say, I've been a wrong influence, we need to change this, then that's when maybe you can find some help. But it first has to be seen from you. The change has to be seen from you.
Thank you, Tina. Let me come to Cinderella, and of course Jude will come with some of these questions. Please be bringing them, because we don't have more time now. Be bringing those questions as we want to move concurrently. Now, George, you see, one thing is helping people understand your vision. You can conceptualize. You can gestate an idea. Every day, ideas are being manufactured in our minds. But how to bring it to people in form of a vision. And you know, helping a group of people understand a vision will help you influence their lives. So, what advice can you give to the people who could be having a vision for their community, a vision for their family, a vision for, because we've talked of influence at different levels, she talked about it. Does it matter? How should people really handle their vision?
In Habakkuk, it says, write it down. Write your vision. Of course, God meant to write it down. Piece of paper, because from the mind it can fly. Write it down, and then that's level 1. Level 2, be convinced about it yourself first. Because level 3 will be now to approach people who will stand with you in fulfilling this vision. in case you discover it needs the support of others. Once that is done, move out.
Good.
Because now we're talking about communities.
Yeah.
This is outside your personal achievements and aspiration. Because you know, communities, even if you have a very good idea, it may not be very good for them. They will think, why have you thought about them? So putting down and the details, profiling, and then when you discuss with them, for instance, the local authorities,
Now you reminded
and
me.
then you also involve people who have done similar work.
There are these guys who don't go for clan meeting. There are these guys,
Planning.
they want to stand, to become members of parliament. They've never visited their areas and they don't know what happens in their areas. And they don't know what condition people are really going through. No, you can move forward. Yes,
So, you move out, and then when people listen to you, they say, okay, I think this one benefits us. Some communities will ask, how do you benefit from this? There are communities who will be straightforward because they know they're already vulnerable. They will ask you, okay, you want to give us water, but how are you benefiting from this? What they are looking out for is, at one point we are going to change and turn the other way around. But should they not understand where you the vision payer, benefits, they cannot trust you.
they want to hear what benefits them.
No, not them.
Yes.
Today, even a teacher in a class, the beauty of influencing the children is where you are proud of being a teacher. And pride being a teacher is not wearing like I am. But the good things you talk about, how you feel being around them and how teaching is good. When they discover you're also benefiting, they will listen more. Because they know at one point they are going.
Okay, thank you,
Be
Jude.
like you.
Then Jude will come. Before I forget this question, people fear. Each time you go to the community, you must be a contributor. A contributor. People expect you to give them something. If not ideas, it must be materialistic. And you see one big problem with the influencers, or the aspiring influencers. They don't want to take responsibility for people's problems. And yet they want to influence them. See the right? Don't you think that can be a disaster?
When Jesus went to preach in Galilee, he had a crowd of 5,000 people. He preached to these people, he gave them the word, and because he had interest in them, and he had related with them, he had been there with them, they had been through the same situation, he knew that his people were hungry. That is when he asked anyone, is there food? And then he fed 5,000 people with just 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Yes. You don't have to give them everything.
Yeah.
Just give them what you
I
can.
love that.
And be honest. Tell them, this is what I can give you. If your community knows you, if your community trusts you, they will take it the way it is. They will not expect more from you because that will be unrealistic now. There is no way you're going to start bringing for them bread from heaven. No. You can give them what you can. But don't keep giving them the same thing all the time. Make sure, as an influencer, you keep on having something new for them. Which brings us back to the point of this research. Research, know what your community wants.
Amen. Thank you.
Can I
And
add something?
you will just add something. We'll be coming for questions. We are about to wind up.
Friends, if you want to influence people, let's help their hands up. Let's discourage hands. Hand out, hand out, hand out. Why? The handout runs down, the well will dry. And once people discover you are broke, you can no longer provide. Why some of the leaders hide away from us is they never helped us up. They simply handed out. And now the stores are empty. They have to take off of their life. Let's help them up. Okay? I will give the last example. I always get application for work. But some people send their parents. If you are looking for a job, don't send your parents. Though your parent can give a call to influence, but walk there. Because when you walk there, then you are being held up. Because I will ask a question, and I will be inconsiderate if I ask it to your parent.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
Yes.
And it just brought me to this thing. Tina.
That is a handout.
Why is it that it is very, very difficult to buy the idea of some people? Because people are really trying, they're trying their actions, they're trying everything they can do, but it's really difficult. You don't seem to see any sense. Wow, what problems could these people be having?
Let me start in this way. You talked about vision, and you talked about selling your vision. Now, it is very important to know who you're selling your vision to, because you cannot sell your vision to everybody. When you identify the who, it's to sell your vision to. Now, this who, in quotes, because that English word does not exist, will help you to pass your vision to the right target group. And that is why when you go to the community and you want to sell your vision, you have to identify the influencers of the community, the opinion leaders of the community, and you sell your vision to them. And they will be the one to go to those people and sell for you your vision, because the people believe in them more than you. Now, the reason why you can come even to an audience like this and sell your vision and no one believes in it, because you've chosen the wrong audience. Not everyone believes in what you're trying to put out. You don't need to bombard people with your vision.
Wow, thank you.
You need to take it one step at a time.
Thank you so much. Of course, we are influencing our world, getting to know how best we can influence our world. We are going to break off for 2 minutes. We're going to offer in the presence of the Lord, and as we get served with the coffee, we have some video announcement to take us through. And when we come back, we are going to answer some of these questions. Feel free to drop your questions.
You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again?
You are the light of the world, a city that cannot be hidden.
Never do people light a lamp and put it underground, but instead they put it on its stand so that everyone inside the house can see the light.
And in the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. Stand out!
Previously on StandOut.
Priority needs the most important thing, the very many important things. And like Amber stage, priority is not stagnant, it's changing.
There are things I pick from what you just shared with us. And you can make priorities. And you also need to work towards achieving your priorities. And you have to work very hard. If I had it very well, so you work very hard. And you developed a team. You never gave up. So that means if you have priorities, follow your priorities with hard work. Don't just dream. Dream and follow the dream.
You are most welcome to StandOut. We are glad you joined us this edition. Come back again the last Friday of next month.
All right, thank you. Let's put our hands for the media team. That has been so great. I know some of us, we're chewing and we're taking something that is so good, so precious to have you around with us. We have the women leader of this church, Mommy Margaret. You're most welcome, and thank you for being with the youth. You love them so much. We have the staff of PGL unit. Wherever you are, we salute you. We have a few, some guests and also staff from Unity FM. We have students in various capacities. Jude will be doing most of our recognition, and we so much want to welcome you back to this. Just one more thing, and then we'll be done. Now, commitment will always help us to sustain the motive that we come up with to influence the people. And no, commitment is one thing that so abstract to understand that people don't see it, but it's a practical thing. So, George, I know all of us will have a say on this. Tap, because already I want to, but we don't want to leave that out. Without commitment, discouragement is going to come. We have already people, influencers who already deserted. Judah, you are aware? I don't want to go back to politics, and somebody could be down there and say, so what about commitment?
I would say commitment is your unending effort to do that which you are convinced is good over again and again, irrespective of the results.
Irrespective of the results until you achieve it.
You keep going.
Tina, you want to help people. How do we create possibilities?
It comes with identification. First of all, like we said earlier, you first identify. Identifying your target is part of identification of possibility, because in that way you will do a SWOT analysis of your target.
Thank you.
And when you know the SWOT analysis is when you know
the
how
strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and all the threats, and Cinderella. And you know that people here want to go back and influence people. What is that they should go back and do?
Pray.
We've talked about many other things. They should pray.
Pray to God to give you guidance. Pray to God so that He can help you build yourself up and you may feel others. Just as Tina said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And then 2, stand out.
Stand out, I like that.
Stand out. You are a light. Don't put it on a table and then you cover it with a bowl. No, you're a light. Stand out. 3, I forgot to talk about flexibility. Be open-minded. In the beginning, I didn't set out to become a midwife. No. It was something that was thrown at me in the middle of life. But when it was, I grabbed this opportunity and I said, I'm going to strive to be excellent at this because it has been given to me. God's plan is not my plan, and I'm not going to go against it. Be open-minded, be flexible, and most of all, strive to be excellent in whatever you're going to do. Excellence is giving the world your best and keeping the worst for yourself. Strive to be excellent.
I like that.
I would like to add.
Yes, one other thing, and then
Just something small.
Yes.
Don't make influence about yourself. That's being selfish. Make influence about others.
Other people.
Don't make it about being known, about fame, about people recognizing what you're doing. You will have missed the point. Make it about others so that you see the outcome of your hard work in the life of others.
You know, you want to be an influencer, be a smart person. Smart from upstairs, smart physically, you're going to talk to the people. People will like you. If you just walk anyhow and you do it anyhow, people will not even understand you, and you'll be a straight person now. Know people by their names. A few of these, struggle to know a few of these guys, you know. It is going to help you catch them, you know, attract them to you, and they will desire to be with you. So care for them. Care is also one thing. Care for their ideas. Yes.
Members, if you may have anything to influence about somebody else, please lift somebody as you are sent. That ladder is not a metallic ladder. That ladder is people's attitudes, people's development ideas. Lift somebody as you are sent. Don't just climb and kill. And that lies in the power you have.
Well, thank you so much. We have some few questions here that we're just going to run through, and the few that we can respond to them, we shall have them answered. The first question is directed to Pastor Charles. You are a leader of praise and worship, we understand. And you have influenced multitudes. But there are some leaders who believe that dictatorship is the best. What can you say about this? Then the next question is directed to Cinderella. How do you influence somebody bigger or greater than you? Like you are a farmer and someone is a president. Then the next question. How does influencing others benefit you as an individual? Does it mean you should change the lives of others and you remain left like that?
I love the questions.
Then the next question is again directed to Pastor Charles, who was not in the panel, but I believe you have a lot, because this question shouldn't have come to you. Would you tell me if beliefs and what we think has impact on the influence we have upon people and the influence people have on us? Then the last question. I myself, I believe that sometimes we have to let go of things we want so much for others. Let me come again. I myself, I believe that sometimes we have to let go of the things we want so much for other things to happen in other lives, in our lives, I mean. Is it a positive or a negative attitude? These are all the questions we have.
I have 2 questions so that I don't waste time, because I want to use 2 minutes. This time I want to be a good time manager. Decision. A leader must make decision. Because if you don't make decision, nobody will lead the people. The people will be blind and they will not know where to go. But that doesn't mean you should be dictatorial. However, it depends on the environment. I was talking about, we were sharing about, the club leader, country club leaders. We have those leaders, produce results or go away. And we have those leaders of the middle of the road. They just want to be there. They just want to be there to please everybody. So avoid the 2 extremes. One thing that we're trying to fight for is the task and the people who do the task. You get the point? We are not fighting for only one result. We're fighting for the task done and the person who does the task. So I'm not going to be a country club leader. I'm not going to make you happy, and yet you're going to lose results.
Wow, thank you so much. I believe Uncle C has answered that question. Now, Cinderella, we believe you're the youngest right now on this panel, yet you've already influenced a number of people. Now the question is, how do you influence somebody bigger or greater than you? For instance, you are a farmer, you are a student, a midwife. How do you influence a president?
Start by influencing your peers. You cannot start going high and yet you've not yet influenced the people who stay with you all the time. Start by influencing them. And next, set your target, set your goals and follow them, live by them. Don't look at a long-term goal. Don't strive to achieve a long-term goal and yet the short-term goals you set have not yet been achieved. Go slow. Your time is there. You're going to reach there. Be committed to what you're doing. Commitment, excellence move hand in hand. If you've set your mind to start something, don't give up, because there's a reason why you started in the first place. Be hardworking and smart in whatever you do.
Wow, thank you so much, Cinderella. That was so brilliant. Now the last question is directed to Tina. This person is saying, I am not married, yet I have a lot to impact on the lives of married. Is it possible for me who is not married to influence the life of the married people? If yes, how can I do it, Tina?
Jesus. I am going to start answering it the way Cindy did. Don't start from so happy. You start from down. Start by influencing your single peers. And then the married will identify you. Because you will have impacted the life of the singles around you positively. Now, this marriage, you cannot go to the committee of the marriage and start talking about things you have no experience on.
So know the people you want to serve.
Exactly. Let them see your life from the modeling department. Let them observe and see how you're changing the lives of the singles, and they will identify you and say, that girl has confidence, that girl has substance, even if she's still single.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. And finally, the most last question to the manager. How does influencing others benefit me as a person?
You automatically become a role model, so you're a point of reference. All the time. Two, you remember when I said, people will ask, how do you benefit? You are giving me bicycle, but how do you benefit from giving me the bicycle? Personally, I've benefited a lot. Over the last 10 years, we've been around doing this gathering.
Worship team,
we have been able to train very many people. And when I meet them or when they tell me what they have become, and I relate with the way I found them, I feel satisfaction. Satisfaction to me is how people become something else that is good than what I found them with.
Celebrate success. Celebrate small successes. You know that people are waiting for big. Celebrate small successes. Then celebrate big success together. Don't always pretend that any success has come because of you.
But there's also the economic part.
Thank you.
When influencing people, you can give something.
Let's have some closing remarks. Let's have a closing remark. We begin with Tina as we wind up. Thank you so much for your patience, and you gave us a good audience. That has been so wonderful having you here.
Yeah, know the reason why you have chosen to influence. That is where your satisfaction will come from. For me as a person, I want my influence to be in the area of godliness, in the area of humility. I want, if there is anything about me that I want to be remembered for, is that I live the godly life. I was humble, and through that character, I influenced the lives of others.
Closing remarks. Thank you so much, Madam Tina. You gave us good closing remarks.
Mine is kindness. Kindness is free. Give it out in large amount. It doesn't hurt you to love someone. It doesn't hurt you to be kind to someone. Greet them, know their name, mind about them. You might actually have done a lot in their lives than you would think is possible.
George, your last word?
My final take is, influence is about change. And the only positive change. And the only permanent thing is change. Be part of that change.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been me, Charles, and Jude, driving you for tonight's discussion on influencing the world. Come again next time. We love you so much.
I think this has been the best discussion ever. Praise the Lord.